Bounce it, biggity, bounce it, biggity, bounce it, biggity, bounce it. Bounce it, biggity, bounce it, biggity, 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 bounce it. Hit me with the hit me with the. Alrighty. I hope my hair looks decent. I hope I don't look crazy. I hope I don't look too tired. Hey everybody! Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Her Path, Her Pace, where growth meets grace. I am your host, Ariel, and welcome. This is episode 7. Oh my goodness, almost 2 months almost down, guys. Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. But yeah, we're just gonna dive right into life lady. I do have some updates for you guys. So, Upward Light Community Cipher, the nonprofit organization that I was telling you guys about last month, talked about it a little bit this month, because they had to do some rescheduling for a couple of events because of the weather. We had that big snowstorm and everything, so some things got rescheduled. So you still can go to the Cypher event that will be hosted at the National Civil Rights Museum, and it's going to be 2 to 5, March 7th, and there's going to be spoken word. There will actually be MCs and stuff like that in the Cypher. We're going to have a juker. It's going to be fun. I will have the link down below to the Eventbrite link. It is free. The event itself is free, but you can check down below for that link in the description box. But that is March 7th from 2 to 5. And yeah, so come out and support the hip hop event. Like I said, there's going to be MCs there, spoken word happening. And then there will also be different vendors around to potentially help wherever you are in your creative artistic journey. So come and check us out. I will be there. I will be at my own vendor table, fingers crossed. So yes. So come out and show support. Once again, that is March 7th at the Civil Rights Museum. It's Upward Light Community Cipher Hip Hop. It is their Cipher event, March 7th from 2 to 5. Originally, this event was scheduled for the end of January to usher in Black History Month. But like I said, weather things happen, so it got rescheduled. At first, it was rescheduled. Yeah, it's rescheduled to March 7th, 2 to 5, National Civil Rights Museum. I hope to see you there because I will be there. Yes, and then also the Artist Development Workshop panel event got rescheduled for March 14th, and that is 12 to 2 at Raleigh's Public Library. And the overarching theme of the Artist Development Workshop is the importance of knowing yourself, knowing your identity, knowing who you are, knowing your values and things like that. So there's going to be different segments throughout the program. The panel is towards the end, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have my notes directly in front of me right now, but there's going to be different segments, aspects of the event, and they all speak to the importance of knowing your identity and how it all works and can help, and education and all of those things. So you can come out to that if that is something that is important to you, even if artist development isn't per se, your bag, but also if you just want to see how alignment between knowing yourself and making that your brand and marketing and seeing the importance in that, this is also a workshop that will speak to you, even if you aren't necessarily in the entertainment arena. I am still a panelist speaking, so come out, support your girl. That even, like I said, is March 14th, 12 to 2, the Raleigh Public Library. So yes, you can come to that. But yeah, those are the little updates. That's that. Valentine's Day passed this past weekend and all that. Sorry, Kiki. Sorry, Medina. I definitely did the V-Day cry, V-Day ball, more like it, and then proceeded to put my phone on D&D. It sucks as an adult because Valentine's Day was my favorite holiday. Like, it wasn't Christmas. It wasn't Easter. It wasn't 4th of July. It wasn't any of those. It was Valentine's Day. And the reason it was Valentine's Day was because, like, I don't know. It's just it just spoke to the lover girl in me, I guess. Like, a day all about love and just showing how in love you are with someone, or how much you love somebody and care somebody, and like making it into a physical manifestation and like embodying it in the entire day. Like, just an entire day dedicated to love, not hate, not feud, not war, just love. Like, and like, and my dad was my Valentine every year, except for these last 2 years. Eve Anthony, what are you doing? You're supposed to forever be my Valentine. Anyhow, we can have that conversation another day. But yeah, and so it just sucks because the reality is, outside of my dad, I ain't never had no Valentine, really. But yeah, like, here's the thing. It's not that I'm saying okay, I've received gifts, yes, but I have never had, first of all, I've never been asked to be somebody's Valentine. No one has actually taken the time and asked me to be their Valentine. And two, no one has taken the time to plan and dedicate an entire day to catering to me with things that I like and things that I enjoy, and doing things because I enjoy them, not because they enjoy them. I have not had anybody in my life do that yet. And I just feel like, I don't know. So yeah, it was pretty sad. It's a pretty sad day for me. I spent it crying, boo-hooing, boo-hoo-hoo-hooing. Had expectations and was disappointed. I have expectations every year. I get disappointed every year. Doesn't stop me from having the expectations though. Maybe, I'm a whatever. But yeah. So I did the V-Day cry. Let's just, hope and pray I don't do the birthday cry this year. Because I did that last year too. So, but yeah, that's what's going on in my life and whatever, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving. So, being that next week is going to be our shared steps moment, where I take the time to give the women their flowers. For the entire episode, I have decided to take this time to let you guys know and remind you that if there's any Black woman in your life, in history, that has been a part of your life, if you would like to share their stories and highlight them and give them their flowers on next week's episode, please email those letters to herpathherpace@gmail.com. In the subject line, give her flowers. That is herpathherpace@gmail.com. Subject line, give her flowers, and email me those stories, and I will share them on next week's episode. All right, moving right along. Let's get into let's walk through it. Our main topic of discussion. All right, guys. So, as you all know, well, if you don't know, I'm in school right now. I am pursuing my master's, and it's online. But yes, we had a discussion post a few weeks ago, and someone just responded to my original thread, and she left a couple of questions at the end of her response that made me sit back and ponder, because the discussion was about what does success look like to you? What does it mean to you in your personal life versus professional life? And what are some examples of successful organizations and what made them successful, and some metrics, or what are some non-financial metrics that you feel are important and that connected to the organization's success and things like that. So yeah. And I thought this was in theme with us, talking about becoming, and we're on this, her path, her pace. And these questions made me sit back and ponder for a second. So I just thought I'd bring the conversation to the pod. The questions she wrote at the end of my discussion post were: if you knew you could snap your fingers and know everything that was going to happen in your life, would you take the risk and look ahead? Or would you let life's experience mold your thinking as you live through the process? And the last question: how would knowing change the very person you're becoming as you live and develop? Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. My gut reaction, my gut instinct was like, why wouldn't I want to know the future? Why wouldn't I want to look ahead and see everything? That was my gut reaction. And then I really sat with it. And I was like, no, I wouldn't. I don't think I would want to know the future. As I actually sat and continued to talk to myself, and I was just like, yes, I did say continue to talk to myself. This was a conversation I was having with myself. And I just was sitting there and I was thinking, like, well, what would be the downside of knowing everything that's gonna happen? Well, one thing, knowing the end and knowing everything that will happen, I don't think I'd appreciate it. Like, I genuinely, like, as crazy as that sounds, for me, I don't, not to say I wouldn't work as hard knowing the end goal, because a part of me, part of me believes that if I knew, that if I did see, or if I did know, no, forget that. That's not what I'm trying to say. God dropped a vision in my sleep, in my dream, and I've only ever had 2 first-person perspective dreams in my entire life, and both of them, one required me to immediately go to God in prayer because, yeah, I needed to go into action immediately, and then the other one I genuinely believe was God giving me the vision of, like, a glimpse of what my life could look like, or like a glimpse of my life. And I have that glimpse. I don't know the process. I don't know what I was doing in the dream. I don't know what I did to lead up to that. I don't know none of that. I don't know any of those things. But what I'm saying is, with that vision, and I don't have any context, no clue, nothing. I've worked harder. I believe I've been harder on myself to get to that place. I don't know what that place is. So I don't believe that if I snapped my fingers and I could see everything that was going to happen, it's not that I don't think I would work as hard, and it's not that I don't think I wouldn't appreciate it because the lack of my work. Well, actually, no. Yes. What am I trying to say? It's not that I don't think I would appreciate. It's not that I wouldn't work as hard, because with the glimpse God has given me and that I've been blessed to see, I've been working my ass off. So, excuse me, God, I've been working my butt off. So, like, it's not necessarily that I wouldn't work as hard in that. What am I trying to say? Because I know the end result, I wouldn't appreciate the process of it. I wouldn't appreciate or embrace the journey. I would just be going through the motions to get to the result. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Versus, just letting life's experiences mold your thinking as you live through the process. I feel like that's a weird way to word that question. Or like allowing yourself to experience life and go through the process. I think that's really how she should have. Anyways, allowing life to just happen in the process, to just happen, because that's the thing. I realized, and I mean, this could also just be me. This could also just be a me thing. But when I look back over things, when I've accomplished the goal, when I've, like, done the thing that I was setting out to do, it was the journey. It was the process. It was all the things that I learned in that process that made the win feel worth it. Cause I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Like it was the journey, and I'm not gonna lie. The example that I'm always brought back to is, as crazy as this sounds, is elementary school, when we did a very, 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 I have to stress this more than enough, 1,000 times, extremely, 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 extremely child appropriate version of Rent at my performing arts elementary school. It was Showstoppers. All we were doing was singing and dancing. We didn't do any of the inappropriateness, any of that. So, trust me, we didn't. But yes, that was hard work. We learned a lot of songs in a short amount of time. Learned a lot of blocking, short amount of time. Like intense. That was the most intense Showstoppers preparation, performance, like, and that was the show that I fell in love with performing and being on stage. Was the show that was the most grueling and hardest to learn. But like being up there with my friends, going through it in this community, and then knowing that there's this bigger message behind what we're saying. And so we worked and worked and worked. And then so like our teacher told us the story at the beginning before we really knew it. Then we worked and worked and worked. Didn't know the story. She didn't bring the story up again until opening night, like literally until premiere night of us doing this. And this is a one night only show, and that's it. That's all. And she gave us the spiel and everything. So like, imagine all of this work, weeks of work. You coming fresh off of Christmas break, weeks of work going into the show immediately, and like not understanding the story before. You are working to learn these things, and like your teachers and they're telling you things, and you don't realize the things that they're doing to get the story and get the message in your head subconsciously, so you're understanding what you're not just up here performing, you're actually aware of what message you're saying and all of those things. And to me, that's what made the performance even better, because anyways, and then to get to the end and to be done, and you just like, that's it. Like, I want to do it again and 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 again. And it's like, but what exactly made me appreciate that moment on stage? What made me appreciate the ability to tell that story on that stage? What made me feel connected? What? It was the work. It was the process. It was the journey that led to that. Now, if I would have snapped my fingers and just saw that flash before my eyes and saw how it ended and saw, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So it's a great show. Like, we have an amazing show. Who's to say what would that have taught me back then? I don't think it would have taught me great work ethic. No, because if you could just snap your fingers and just, it wouldn't, like, eventually over time. And I think that's my whole point with like it, even thinking about it as an adult. Yeah, I can say right now, because it's not something that's happened, or something that I can do, but I could say, yeah, I still work hard, but would I? Would I? If I knew if I knew it could be easier, if I knew I could just snap my fingers and it'd be there, done, would I? Would I? Who typically chooses the hard work over, who? If that was an option, would I? If that had always been an option, that's the thing. That was where I'm like, if that had always been an option, would I? And now I know y'all are probably like, what is the importance of this to the podcast and all of that? The importance is like, I wanted to bring it up because it's just like, it is worth it. The good times and the bad times. The joy and the strife. The ups and the downs. The progress. The suffering. The pain. The yin and yang. The balance of life. Is it all worth it? And to me and for me, I say yes. Because when I think about this, would I snap my fingers just to see it all? Or would I rather the process? Even though I know, and even though I know what comes with the process, are there times where I wish I could have moments to snap my fingers to get past? Yes. Yes. There are some things I wish I did not have to go through. There are some things I wish that this world did not have to go through. But it's like, it is the balance of life. The good and the bad. The balance of life. And so I appreciate the process. It is painful, but I appreciate the process. And I appreciate the journey because of the lessons and things I've learned along the way and the growth that has come from it. And I don't know, maybe this conversation isn't for you, and maybe this was a conversation for me because I don't think I realized that. I don't think I genuinely realized. I don't think I sat and really said and told myself, well, you're tearing and you're fighting and all of those things and you're warring. Okay, well, what if you had the choice? If you had the choice, what would you do? What would you do? Would you throw away all of this? And the answer is no. Don't know what I would have said while like in the thick of it, thick of everything. I'm still kind of in the thick of everything. This is not as thick as it was. It ain't as thick as it used to be. I can see some light. I can see some light. I see some light at the end of that tunnel. I see some light peeking through them trees or through that horizon. I see some light. But I can now say, yeah, I will choose the process. I will choose it because of the lessons I've learned and the things I've learned about myself and the things I've learned about other people and the things I've learned about life. And all of it has shaped who I am and who I am becoming. And you know, I like who I'm becoming. I like her. I like the girl that is. I like that I'm finding my light, my spark again. And now let's just hope and pray I don't go back, you know? Um, but I, yeah, I will choose the process. So I would just, I don't know. I don't know what the lesson is in that. I don't know what the advice is in that. I guess the advice, no, the lesson, like, I guess what those questions made me realize was that in this world, in society, everything is like, especially now with social media, everything is so microwave and everything is so easy and everything is just so right at your fingertips. And it's just making me, it made me slow down and be like, embrace the journey, embrace the process. It's going to be painful. You're gonna have some good days and some bad days, but the journey is what makes life. And yeah, the journey is what makes life. And this is all in my opinion. You can agree to disagree, okay? But yeah, the journey is what makes life. So if you only got to the destination, what life have you lived? And I don't want to wake up one day and just be like, well, actually, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to die and go to the grave and be robbed of life. Like like, and I mean, like, to say like I didn't live. I want to say I lived. I wanted to. I live. You know, and life is the journey. So why would you do away without the journey? Why would you do away without it? Because so far, even though it's been bumpy, you know, I've cried a lot these past 3 years, 4 years actually. This is the most I've cried in my entire life. But it has made me who I am today, and I am stronger. And I have learned so much. So yeah. What would you do? I would, like, just ponder, sit and think. Sit and think on that if you want to. I would choose to embrace the journey because yeah, and just allow life to be life. Do it all over again. Just allow life to be life because I like who I'm becoming. I like who I am. I like who I was, who I've been, and I'm liking how I'm growing. So, and without my process, I would risk that. I would risk that person. I would risk who I'm becoming. So, yeah, I keep my process. I say the process is worth it. I say it is. But yeah, that's just the main topic. That's just what I wanted to talk about and leave with you guys to ponder. Just let me know down below. How do you feel? What do you think? Would you rather, be easy? Would you rather be able to snap your fingers and just see it all and know it all? Or would you rather this process, this journey? And why? Why? I don't think it's wrong either way because like I said, if you would have asked me something when I was a little deeper in, a little thicker in it, asked me those questions, I definitely would have probably said, snap your fingers, get me out of this. What? So there is no right or wrong answer. That does not matter. That's not what I'm fishing for. That's not what I'm looking for. It's just a conversation. It's just an interesting conversation. But yeah, if you feel open and vulnerable, this is a safe space for you to leave that and share those conversation and think points, things, yeah, down below. But yeah, so that's just what I wanted to talk about. Cool. Now we're gonna move to letters along the way. Letters along the way. So here we have reached the segment of the pod where your stories, your voices, your concerns, and your advice will all be heard. You can email those letters to lettersalongtheway@gmail.com. That is lettersalongtheway@gmail.com. Also, don't forget, next week's episode is Give Her Flowers. So if there's a Black woman in your life, a Black woman throughout history that you feel like is not highlighted enough, and you want to take the time to honor her, share her story, email those letters to herpathherpace@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Give Her Flowers. Once again, that is herpathherpace@gmail.com. Subject line, Give Her Flowers. All right. We're gonna keep on trucking along. Yes, we're going on to glow up goals. So for the glow up goals this month, how's journaling going for you guys? I can't lie, I've been lacking. I've been lacking in my journaling. Like Like, I was doing good for the first 2 weeks. This past week I did terrible. So, I'm gonna get back on my please cute, get back on that. But how is it going for y'all? I ain't gonna lie, it's been bringing up a lot of emotions for me. I know that. That's kind of how journaling works for me. That's how journaling works for me. But it's also a fast recovery for me. Yeah. So, but it's not like that for everybody, and it wasn't like that for me at the beginning. It was a process. I had to get there. So yeah, but how is journaling going for you guys? And just let me know. Our weekly commitment. I am daring us all to force ourselves out of isolation this week. And go out and do something or talk to somebody. And yeah, so just force yourself out of isolation, whether that's talking, taking the time to, instead of when you come home and immediately resting on your couch and scrolling on TikTok, maybe call somebody that you haven't spoken to, an old, like maybe an old family friend, an older family member, reconnect. Force yourself out of isolation that way and force yourself into community. Or, force yourself out of isolation by actually taking yourself out to go do something. But not just doing, like, go participate in something. Like, go, and if there's an event being hosted at your park this week, go to it. It's supposed to be great weather this week, I think. Go outside. Go touch some grass. Go sit in the sun. Get them out of isolation, okay, my babies? Come on out. Come on out, come on out, come on out. Okay, that's what I'm daring you all to do this week. Force yourself out of isolation. If it's too much to physically actually go out of isolation, pick up the phone and call somebody. Just pick up, call. I promise you. It'll do you more good than you think. Pick up the phone and call somebody. All right. Now we are adding to our daily affirmations. Yeah. So we are adding. Sorry. We're adding to our daily affirmations. Is I am worthy of love and respect. Say it with me. I am worthy of love and respect. Say it again. I am worthy of love and respect. Third time's the charm. All right. There you go. So that's our daily affirmation for this week. Okay. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. 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 And we're going to keep on going to Grace Notes. Oh, Grace Notes. Okay. And the Grace Note word of encouragement that I just want to give you guys, as people, we don't have the option. We don't have the choice of making life easy. Well, some of us don't. We don't have the choice to make life easy. Life may be easier for some than others, but life is still life. And that is the one thing that makes life fair, because it is unfair to everybody, no matter what cards you're dealt. Okay? My struggle may not be your struggle, but we all have a struggle. Some of us have struggles. Okay? So my grace note on today and advice and words of encouragement is to remember to treat yourself with the same kindness you give to everyone else. Okay? Because it is a process. It is a journey. Sometimes you're going to fall. You just got to get back up. And I know it's easier said than done. But it's okay, because you're not alone. Okay? So thank you guys once again for joining me for another episode. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode. I hope to see you guys March 7th. I hope to see you guys March 14th. I hope to see you guys in person. All those events. But until next week, guys, remember, pause, breathe, take a beat, and don't forget to give yourself grace. Until next time, guys. Bye.